Great! Hello everyone, well that's me again, your teacher, and today or tonight, depending on what time you guys are seeing me, we're going to take a look at the expression of the future. Right? Okay, let's get it on. So there are several ways to express the future in English, but right now we are only going to look at two, okay? So first of all, will, and then second of all, be going to. Yes? Are you ready? Okay, let's go. So let's start with will to express the future, okay? I think it is very important to take a look at the structure first. So we have the subject, then we have the auxiliary will, and then we have the base verbale. Just to make it clearer for some of you again, what is the base verbale? La base verbale, c'est la forme entière du verbe. On n'aura pas de marque d'ing, de marque de ed ou bien de to qui précéderait ce verbe. Ce sera réellement la forme nue aussi du verbe. Right? Okay. So here I can say, he will sleep. Great, let's continue. It can also be contracted, will, into apostrophe double L. Right? Just to make it quicker and easier to say. So instead of saying, he will sleep, I can say, he'll sleep. Right? Then you can still express an action in the future, but in the negative form using the adverb not. So instead of saying he will not sleep, I can say he won't sleep. Let's continue. N'oublions pas que will est un modal et par conséquent il sera invariable. On n'aura pas de marque de s, ed, d'ing, tout comme must, should, can, could, may, might, would. All of these modals we've seen in classes will answer to the same linguistic system. There won't be any S, any ing at the end, right? So it is very, very simple. And with the interrogative form, it is very simple. As with the other, you start with the auxiliary, here will, then the subject, here for example I, you, she, we, you, they, or other subject, and then base verbale, and the complement if you need it. Alright, so for example, you can say, will I do this exercise tomorrow? Okay, I question myself. Then, will you do this with me? Will she do that? Blah, blah, blah. Will we do this? Will you do this? And finally, will they do that? Okay, so it's very, very simple. Let's continue with how to use will. Okay, I'll do this one in French so that it's easier to understand and to contrast with the use of be going to. With will, l'énonciateur exprime une action dans le futur qui est envisagée, à laquelle il croit, à laquelle il pense. On peut parler de prédiction dans certains cas. Une deuxième caractéristique de will est cette expression de la volonté au moment de parler. On peut aussi voir transparaître dans certains énoncés que je vais pouvoir vous présenter une certaine forme d'instantané. Right, let's take a look at some examples now. First example, unfortunately, is polar bears will die. It's not funny, I know. What it means though, and this is why it is very interesting, is that the person speaking here, me, believes and thinks that polar bears will die. It is just based on me, on my opinion, right? So at some point, these cutie bears, well, poof, dead. When though, and this is where it is interesting, is that it could be next week, in 10 years, or in 100 years for that matter, right? We're not really sure of when exactly polar bears will die. We're just expressing an action here in the future. Let's take a look at the second example. Do you need a ride? No thanks, I'll take the bus to go home. What it means is that the person speaking has decided now to take the bus instead of getting into the car of the person offering a ride. Do you see what the person speaking said? Is that he contracted will into apostrophe double L. So it's easier and quicker to say, instead of saying, I will take the bus to go home. Well, I'll take the bus to go home. Do you see? When though, and this is why it's interesting to contrast it with the first one, it's going to be right now. Right, so let's look at the third example now. The third example is this one. I'll take shorter showers, I promise. Here again, I contracted will into apostrophe double L. Okay, what it means is that at some point, I, the person speaking, l'énonciateur, will use less water when I take my shower. So it's better economically and ecologically. That's why I put the green thumb here, okay? When though? It could be next time, next week, or next year, right? I'm just making a promise for the future and I'm not expressing here when exactly it is going to happen, all right? Right, so let's take a look at the other way to express the future, that is be going to. The first difference with will using be going to is that we need to conjugate be. I cannot say I be going to, right? I need to conjugate be. So I have I am going to, you are going to, she is going to, we are going to, you are going to, and then finally they are going to. You can still contract the auxiliary be into the first one. I'm going to, blah blah blah, you're going to, she's going to, we're going to, and you're going to, and finally they're going to. So again, to make it quicker, to make it easier to say, you can use the contraction. Let's continue. Right, you can still express an action in the future, but in the negative form using, again, the adverb not. Okay, so you will have I'm not going to do this, you're not going to do that, she's not going to do this, we're not going to do that, you're not going to, and finally they're not going to. And finally the interrogative form, it's as well, you start with the auxiliary be, but that you conjugate obviously, and then with the subject I, and then going to, and finally with your complement, okay? And what I want you here to do is to complete the last three sentences, okay? Great, so when to use be going to? You use be going to when you have already decided to do something in the future, okay? You have planned it. Instead of looking at will, where you're just expressing a future, but that is just thought, okay? That is just believed, all right? It's just considered, envisagé, right? Here you have planned it, you have decided to do it. So, in other words, the decision was made before the moment of speaking. Okay? The person talking is more decided, they're more determined to make it happen. We feel there's more this aspect of decision with be going to than with will, right? So let's take a look at some examples now. My mom is going to rescue endangered animals in Africa, all right? You see these families of rhinoceros and then of elephants living in Africa, hopefully for them. Anyway, what it means is that my mom has her flight tickets ready, checked, then her suitcase is ready to go, and finally, well, she's ready to help these animals. There is more this aspect of decision making, okay? When though, it could be here again, next week, tomorrow, in 10 years. You can say, my mom is going to Africa tomorrow, and you can also say, my mom is going to Africa in 10 years. So here, this is why I've written, it's not a matter of futur proche ou bien futur lointain, right? It just depends on the complement here you add, okay? Great. Let's look at the second example now with be going to. My dad's going to buy a new solar panel for the guest house next week, right? What it means here, it's very simple. It's very clear what it is, what my dad is going to do and when he's going to do it. Here, be going to retrouve son équivalent français, entre guillemets, aller faire quelque chose. Ici, si on devait traduire cet énoncé-là, on pourrait dire « Mon père va acheter un nouveau panneau solaire, etc. » D'accord? Donc gardez ça aussi en tête, cette possibilité de traduction de « be going to » par « aller faire quelque chose ». Now it's your turn. You're going to have to find the subject, the verb, to apply the future on, and then finally the complement. And you're going to try to construct the sentence in the future. Are you ready? Yes, let's take a look at that. Save wind turbines, in 20 years, the planet. Right? So mark a pause here to think of how you can express the future with these words. Alright? So mark a pause, yes? Great, so I'm back. I hope it wasn't really difficult. So let's take a look at the first sentence that could emerge with these words. Wind turbines are going to save the planet in 20 years. You can say this. So we have here the subject, wind turbines, then be going to, that is conjugated with troisième personne du pluriel, and then we have the base verbal, save, and finally the complement, the planet in 20 years. You can also say wind turbines will save the planet in 20 years. You have the subject again, wind turbines, the auxiliary will, the base verbal save, and the complement, the planet in 20 years. There is a slight difference in using be going to and here will. There seems to be more of an aspect of decision with be going to rather than with will, but both express an action in the future, okay? Great. Second sentence to reconstruct, we have the words recycle, often, more, and I. Again, mark a pause and try and think how to reorganize these words to make it a sentence for the future, okay? Okay, so mark a pause. Great. All right, let's look at the first sentence now. I am going to recycle more often. Okay, we have the subject here, I. We have be going to, conjugated for the first person, première personne du singulier. Then we have the base verbal, recycle, and finally the complement. Okay? Second sentence that could also express this action in the future, we have I will recycle more often. We have the subject, we have the auxiliary, we have the base verbal, here recycle again, and we have the complement. Here, it's very striking the difference between be going to and will. But again, it depends on the context. It seems that with the first one, with using be going to, it seems more certain that the person is going to do it because he has decided that he is going to do it, okay? Whereas with will, it's more vague so as to when the person is going to do this. So try and think also to this aspect of certainty, right? But again, it depends on the context. Great guys, so let's now conclude with this lesson about the expression of the future. What I really want you to remember, okay, is that will and be going to express the future in English, okay? And in most cases, will and be going to are interchangeable. So if you do not know which one to choose between will and be going to, just use one of them, alright? You will be understood by people speaking English, okay? Definitely, so do not panic or do not worry. However, if you were wondering the differences between will and be going to in really simple terms, is that with will we have un futur qui n'est pas trop planifié, qui peut être encore changé. On exprime une action dans le futur qui est simplement envisagée. For example, I'll see my friends tonight. J'irai voir mes amis ce soir. Peut-être, peut-être bien que oui et peut-être bien que non. Whereas if I use I'm going to see my friends tonight, I decided that I am going to see my friends tonight. Donc je vais aller voir mes amis ce soir. C'est beaucoup plus sûr, beaucoup plus certain qu'avec un emploi avec will. Donc avec be going to, on a un futur beaucoup plus certain, planifié et décidé par l'énonciateur. Okay? Okay guys, so that is the end of the lesson. I hope you understood a little bit more how to use will and be going to and how to express the future. If you didn't, it's completely fine guys. Write all the questions you have regarding will and be going to, and I'll make sure I answer them on Friday, okay, if you ask them to me. Okay guys, well I'll see you on Friday then. See you, bye bye.